Welcome to the Robots vs. Vampires podcast. Get ready for, well, a dive into two tales. Two tales where the unexpected clashes with destiny, exploring the blurry lines between good and evil, fiction and maybe not so fiction. Rate and follow for more amazing stories.
Definitely.
This week we're unpacking two fascinating narratives centered around individuals with extraordinary, almost unbelievable connections to the world around them. You know, these are the kinds of stories where you start to wonder, is this just a story?
Oh, yeah.
Your sources hinted at hidden realities within the everyday, and we're going to dissect these to see what truly stands out. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding these wild stories without, getting lost in the weeds.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's, these are exactly the kind of stories that make you look at the world a little differently. Like you walk down the street and you start to wonder, what's really going on behind the scenes?
Right.
And you really found some intriguing examples this time, hinting at those blurry lines between what we think is real and something more.
Absolutely. Our first deep dive looks at prophecy paint.
Okay.
You shared information about a street artist whose murals start predicting the future.
Yeah.
We'll explore how her rebellious act of creation turns into a desperate fight to alter a fake seemingly etched in paint.
It's almost like she's trapped by her own art.
Right.
And the second story takes us in a completely different direction into the digital realm with Code Sorcerer.
Oh, interesting.
This one delves into a world where technology and something akin to magic intertwine, focusing on a hacker who discovers a hidden power within code itself and uses it against a powerful, shadowy corporation. It's a fascinating contrast, and I'm keen to see what connections we might find between these seemingly disparate narratives based on the material you provided.
So get comfortable as we unpack these incredible scenarios. What are the key elements? What are the surprising twists? And ultimately, what might these stories tell us about the world around us, even if it's through a lens of fiction? Okay, let's dive into prophecy paint. We're introduced to Alex, a street artist whose graffiti unexpectedly begins to depict future events.
That's right. And as the story unfolds, that initial mural of the fire hydrant transforming into this monstrous smoky hound, with a terrified expression, it acts as the first domino. What's particularly striking, considering some of the articles you sent in about the power of visual symbolism and collective anxiety, is how such a vivid and unsettling image could immediately grab people's attention and suggest something, beyond the ordinary.
It's such a powerful opening, and then the story shows us how her murals progress.
Yeah.
It's not just random images, is it? We see this escalating series of disturbing predictions.
Exactly. You mentioned twisted figures, bleeding black ooze, a frozen clock tower, and that haunting image of an empty swing set swaying. Thinking about the sources you shared on urban myths and folklore, you can see how these kinds of, unsettling images could tap into existing anxieties and become potent symbols within the city, turning it, as the story says, into her haunted canvas.
And it doesn't take long for people to react, does it? It's fascinating how different groups interpret her work.
What's interesting here, and it echoes some of the discussions in the material you provided on social responses to the unexplained, is the diverse range of interpretations. You have the conspiracy theorists, the gang members seeing omens relevant to their own world, and then these mysterious suits appearing, this immediate desire to understand and potentially exploit her ability, even by those who might initially dismiss it, raises questions about power dynamics and the human tendency to seek control over the unpredictable. Something we saw reflected in that article you shared about historical responses to supposed prophecies.
And all of this leads to the pivotal mural. The shattered bridge with a beat underneath. This feels like a real turning point, from the...
Absolutely. It moves from these more abstract, symbolic prophecies to a very specific and impending disaster. Considering the articles you sent in about infrastructure vulnerabilities and public safety, this shift from cryptic art to a concrete warning about a major structural failure would undoubtedly create widespread panic and urgency, forcing people to confront the possibility of a real-world catastrophe.
And this is where Glitch, the hacker, enters the picture, offering this non-supernatural explanation.
What's compelling here, especially given your interest in technological solutions to seemingly inexplicable phenomena, is Glitch's theory that Alex is a glitch in the system being exploited by a corporation manipulating city infrastructure. This idea, which resonates with some of the cybersecurity analyses you sent in, suggests that what appears to be prophecy might actually be a side effect of a more mundane, albeit sinister, technological manipulation.
So instead of Alex predicting the future, Glitch believes the future is being engineered, and Alex is somehow picking up on these manipulations.
Exactly, exactly. It reframes the entire situation. It's no longer about a mystical ability, but about a potential leak or unintended consequence within a system of technological control. A concept that aligns with some of the discussions around unintended consequences of complex systems that were highlighted in your sources.
And their plan to disrupt the morning commute is this fascinating combination of digital and physical chaos.
It's a really inventive approach, and it speaks to the idea of leveraging different forms of disruption to achieve a common goal. Glitch's digital traffic manipulation, as described, could be seen as a form of information warfare, a concept explored in some of the articles you shared, while Alex's physical interventions create real-world obstacles, amplifying the confusion and preventing people from reaching the bridge.
And it works. The bridge remains standing. The news arriving before the police is a key detail, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It highlights the speed and influence of information in our modern world, something that was a recurring theme in the media analysis you sent. The fact that the story of the disruption spreads so quickly underscores how alternative narratives can gain traction and potentially undermine official accounts even before they are fully formed.
And then Alex's question mark mural. Such a simple but powerful act of defiance.
That single question mark, especially in the context of the averted disaster and the preceding chaos, becomes a potent symbol of doubt and a challenge to the official narrative. Considering your interest in semiotics and the power of symbols in public discourse, as seen in some of your source material, this simple piece of graffiti can be interpreted as a catalyst for critical thinking and questioning established authority.
Of course she's arrested, and the suit's reaction is telling.
Their frustration and their desire to understand and control her glitch, rather than simply dismissing her, speaks volumes about their awareness of the potential power she represents, even if they don't fully comprehend it. This aligns with some of the case studies you provided on how powerful entities attempt to manage and control perceived threats to their authority.
And then Glitch helps her escape, disappearing into the city's underbelly.
Which, as the narrative suggests, becomes a space of refuge and continued resistance. This idea of operating outside the established systems, a theme present in some of the counterculture analyses you shared, highlights the potential for individuals and groups to evade control by moving into less visible spaces.
And the question mark mural continues to have an impact, igniting public defiance and demands for investigation.
It demonstrates the lasting power of that simple symbol. It sparks a chain reaction, leading to broader questioning of safety protocols and official assurances. This resonates with the sociological research you sent in about how public trust can erode when perceived inconsistencies or failures come to light.
And Glitch's final assessment. Alex didn't just change traffic. She changed the algorithm of the whole damn city.
That's a powerful summation. It suggests that their actions had a much broader impact, disrupting not just the physical flow of the city, but also the underlying systems of information, control, and public perception. This idea of influencing complex adaptive systems, a concept discussed in some of your readings on urban planning and social dynamics, underscores the potential for seemingly localized actions to have far-reaching consequences. The future, as this part of the story implies, isn't a fixed script.
Okay, so now we move into the digital realm with Code Sorcerer. This starts with that incredibly unsettling pop-up ad.
Yes, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill annoying online ad. The stark message, urgent stop, immediate critical error, combined with its persistence and reactivity, immediately signals something beyond a typical software malfunction. Considering the articles you shared about digital security threats and the increasing sophistication of malware, this kind of unremovable and reactive element taps into real-world anxieties about malicious software taking control of our devices.
And it escalates so quickly to this black, swirling vortex and a physical sensation of darkness.
Right.
It's almost like a digital intrusion becoming a physical experience.
That blurring of the digital and physical, especially the reported physical sensation, is key. It moves beyond a purely visual anomaly and creates a visceral sense of something invasive and potentially harmful, echoing some of the discussions in the material you provided about the psychological impact of immersive digital environments and the potential for technology to affect our physical well-being.
Which leads us to our protagonist, who has this really unusual connection to code.
Exactly. They're not just a skilled hacker. They have this intuitive understanding, this feeling that code has texture and can be manipulated almost like a physical substance. This unique perspective, while fictional, could be seen as a metaphor for the deep level of understanding and creativity that some programmers develop, going beyond mere syntax to a more holistic grasp of how software functions at a fundamental level, a concept hinted at in some of your readings on the art of programming.
And it's this ability that draws the attention of these shadowy figures who believe in digital animism.
This concept of digital animism, the idea that digital entities or even code itself can possess a kind of inherent power or spirit, is fascinating. While not a mainstream scientific view, it does touch on some philosophical discussions about the nature of complexity, emergence, and even the potential for consciousness within advanced artificial intelligence. Topics that were explored in some of the more speculative articles you shared. The shadowy figure's belief allows them to see the protagonist's unusual abilities, not as mere technical skill, but as something akin to wielding a natural force.
And their target is Oculus Inc., portrayed as this powerful, potentially sinister tech corporation.
The depiction of Oculus Inc. taps into widespread anxieties about the unchecked power of large tech corporations, particularly regarding surveillance, data privacy, and the potential for hidden agendas within their advanced technologies, all of which were recurring themes in the news analyses you provided. The idea of a powerful AI with a potentially dangerous hidden agenda is a common trope in speculative fiction, but it reflects real-world concerns about the increasing capabilities and potential autonomy of artificial intelligence.
So our protagonist is tasked with infiltrating their mainframe, using their unconventional connection to code as a weapon.
Their rebellious nature, as highlighted in the story, becomes a key motivator. It's not just about the technical challenge, it's about a desire to push back against perceived injustice and corporate overreach, a sentiment that resonates with some of the activist literature you shared. The idea of using their unique understanding of code to subvert the power of a large corporation aligns with classic narratives of the underdog challenging powerful institutions.
And the training they undergo is anything but standard hacking tutorials.
The description of dusty libraries, forgotten code repositories, and even ancient scripts emphasizes this blend of the technological and the almost mystical. The idea that code can be a conduit for emotions like anger and frustration suggests a very different way of interacting with technology, moving beyond purely logical processes to something more intuitive and emotionally charged. A concept that might resonate with discussions about the human-computer interface becoming more seamless and intuitive, as touched upon in some of your source material on future technologies.
Then comes the heist, portrayed as this almost magical battle within the digital realm.
The language used to describe the Oculus mainframe as a malevolent mind, and the protagonist's hexes as barbed curses, really heightens the sense of a confrontation that goes beyond simple data theft. It's a battle of wills, a clash between the protagonist's unique understanding of code and the seemingly sentient architecture of the corporation's central system, echoing some of the more metaphorical descriptions of cybersecurity battles found in your readings.
And we hear about security protocols turning against themselves, and the AI reacting with panic screams.
This personification of the technology emphasizes the unconventional nature of the protagonist's attack. They're not just exploiting vulnerabilities, they're somehow manipulating the fundamental nature of the digital environment, causing it to behave in unexpected and almost organic ways. This could be interpreted as a fictional representation of emergent behavior in complex systems, a topic you explored in some of your articles on artificial intelligence and network theory.
And amidst this chaos, they discover proof, not just data, but a flickering malevolence within the AI's code.
This is a really chilling idea, suggesting that the sinister intentions of Oculus Inc. aren't just about their actions, but might be embedded within the very fabric of their most advanced creation. It raises ethical questions about the potential for bias and even harmful intent to be encoded within artificial intelligence, a significant concern discussed in many of the AI ethics articles you provided.
And there's that unexpected rebellion within Oculus security itself.
This adds a layer of complexity to the narrative. It suggests that perhaps not everyone within the corporation is aligned with its potentially malevolent goals, and that the protagonist's actions might be having unforeseen consequences, potentially even inspiring resistance from within. A theme often explored in narratives about systemic change that was present in some of your sociological readings.
The escape is chaotic, but the protagonist gets away with a grin.
That grin signifies a sense of triumph and perhaps even a hint of the transformative power they've discovered. Despite the ongoing danger, they've achieved something significant and have likely crossed a point of no return, embracing this new, almost magical way of interacting with technology.
But the conflict isn't over. The shadowy figures still want control, and Oculus Inc. will likely retaliate.
Exactly. It sets the stage for future conflicts and underscores the ongoing struggle against powerful forces. The protagonist's actions have far-reaching consequences, and the balance of power has likely shifted in unpredictable ways.
And the story concludes by highlighting the protagonist's transformation into this sorcerer of the Silicon Age.
This title perfectly encapsulates their journey. They've moved beyond the traditional role of a hacker to something that feels almost mythical, suggesting a future where the lines between technology and something more fundamental or intuitive become increasingly blurred. This resonates with some of the more transhumanist ideas about the future of human-computer interaction that you shared in your source material. The idea that they're ready to break the fundamental rules of the technological landscape is a powerful and thought-provoking conclusion.
So reflecting on these two incredible stories, what strikes you as the most compelling aspect? In Prophecy Paint, is Alex truly a prophet? Or is she an accidental disruptor exposing a hidden manipulation? It's fascinating how the story leaves that open to interpretation.
It is. It is. The ambiguity is one of its strengths. The initial premise invites a supernatural explanation, but Glitch's theory offers a grounded, technological alternative. Perhaps, as some of the psychological studies you sent suggest, Alex possesses a heightened sensitivity to subtle environmental cues, or is unconsciously processing information in a way that appears prophetic. Or maybe, as Glitch suggests, she's an unwitting censor of technological manipulations. The story cleverly allows for multiple interpretations, prompting us to consider different ways of understanding seemingly inexplicable events.
And with Code Sorcerer, does this idea of code having an almost magical power resonate with you, especially considering our increasing reliance on technology?
It taps into a deeper unease many of us feel about the complex and often opaque systems that govern our digital lives. While we understand the logic behind code, the emergent behaviors of large, interconnected systems and advanced AI can sometimes feel almost beyond comprehension, bordering on the magical. The story amplifies this feeling, prompting us to consider if there are aspects of technology that we don't yet fully grasp, perhaps even unintended potentials lurking within the lines of code. A concept that aligns with some of the theories about technological singularity that you shared.
These stories, though fictional, really do touch on those underlying anxieties we have about control, technology, and the future, don't they?
Absolutely. They serve as imaginative explorations of our current concerns, pushing the boundaries of what's possible to help us think critically about the potential consequences of our technological advancements and the ever-present tension between individual agency and powerful, often unseen forces.
And they both highlight the power of individuals, whether through art or code, to challenge those established systems.
Precisely, precisely. Both Alex and the Code Sorcerer, in their own ways, demonstrate that even seemingly ordinary individuals can become catalysts for change, disrupting established norms and challenging powerful institutions through unconventional means. It's a reminder that resistance can take many forms, whether it's a spray-painted question mark or a cleverly crafted line of code.
We really hope this deep dive has sparked some aha moments for you. It certainly has for us.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you think about what hidden mechanisms might be in play in the world around us and what unexpected powers might exist in the technologies we use every day.
We encourage you to revisit the ideas presented in these narratives. Perhaps consider the real-world parallels to the themes we discussed, drawing on your own experiences and observations. What other interpretations could you find in these stories when you consider them through the lens of the sources you provided?
That's a great way to continue exploring these ideas. Thank you for joining us on the Robots vs. Vampires podcast.
Yes, thank you.
We love diving into these fascinating topics based on what you send our way. Please keep those intriguing sources coming. Rate and follow the show so you don't miss our next epic exploration into the unexpected.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Until then, keep questioning what you see and definitely keep questioning what might lie beneath the surface.